Hello, thank you very much for watching this introduction to my eNews. My name is Bob Ferguson and I represent District 1 on the King County Council, which makes up much of North and Northeast Seattle and the north part of King County, including the communities of Shoreline, Lake Forest Park, Kenmore, Bothell, and a little bit of Woodinville and unincorporated King County. I'm going to want to talk to you today about good government initiatives. And I think people wonder, what exactly does that mean when we talk about good government initiatives? And to my mind anyway, it's a type of legislation that makes government more transparent and more accountable to the people of the county. And I had the great pleasure of moving a piece of legislation that was adopted unanimously by the King County Council earlier this week that involves our budget process, and more specifically transparency with our budget process. King County has a very large budget, about a $5 billion budget annually. And one thing I've noticed in the past few years as I've served on the budget committee and chaired the budget committee is that our budget process is, I think, difficult not only for myself as a policymaker to discern what specific amounts of dollars going to what agencies, but for the general public I think it's very difficult from a transparency standpoint to see exactly where dollars are going. So I'll give you an example. When we budget at King County up until now, we budget at a lump sum amount. So for example, public health would be a line that says $187 million. And it takes a lot of work to get underneath that and dig underneath that to see which particular programs or sections of public health are receiving what funds. So I proposed legislation back in January we've been working on for the past few months, and that was adopted this week, that adds a much greater level of detail to that budget process. So taking the public health as one example, that $187 million now will be broken down into 60 different sections or programs that will delineate what amounts of monies are going to those sections. That of course will make our process much more transparent. The public can see where those dollars are going, and from a policymaker's perspective, it'll make my job easier as well, because I can start to say, hey, do we need that much money for administration or that much money for restaurant inspections? Should we have more money for community health clinics? I think those are the kinds of decision points that I need to make, and that this information will make that job easier. And for the general public, I think it's going to make our budget process more transparent, easy to understand, and I think that is really the definition of good government. So that's an initiative I've been very pleased we reached resolution on. We work with the separately elected officials because of course they manage their own budgets as well. We work with the executive branch and of course the county council to bring this together. It was a lot of work, but I'm really glad it's come to a conclusion. You can read more about it in my actual eNews, and I'll be sending out more information as we near our budget process later on this year. I think this is a particularly important initiative right now because of course we have tremendous budget challenges here in King County. They're at the state level as well, the local government level. We're facing another shortfall this year of about 40 to 50 million in our $660 million general fund that pays for key programs like courts, jails, the elections department, all of our criminal justice. So I think it's particularly important to have that level of transparency, a greater level of transparency when you have to make hard choices and significant cuts in different agencies of King County government. This is also part of a larger effort with our budget process to make it run more smoothly. In the past, we've had a limited number of days in which to review the executive's proposed budget. I proposed with some of my colleagues a charter amendment that the voters approved recently, which gives us an extra 20 days to review the budget when it comes over from the executive branch. We'll be receiving it 20 days earlier. That gives us as members and our staff additional time to review the budget and help us make an informed decision at the end of each year. I appreciate you watching this issue of my eNews. Always feel free to contact me at any time by email or phone. My contact information is attached, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.